Okay, I'm back. I'm back. So, anyways, like, what was I talking about? Okay, Coronado. Yes, graduated in Coronado back in '94. Um, pretty much right after that, I moved up to LA. Lived in the Valley in Sherman Oaks. Um, kind of all over the place, but mainly in the Valley. And then I met my best friend there. And then after our lease was up, my friend David and we moved up from Sherman Oaks to Washington State, and I've pretty much been in Washington ever since. I left. I met a girl in Washington. We fell in love. Her whole family, and her best friend's whole family, they all uprooted and went to Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta with her. I was there for a couple of years, and then I came back to Washington. So I've been in Washington since 2009, all the way till now. I love it in the Pacific Northwest. It is beautiful out here. The people seem to me a little bit more friendlier than the people in California. And the people here are really, in my opinion, the people here really are not so caught up on what do you have, who do you know, what can you give me, how much money do you have, what kind of car do you drive, what kind of clothes do you dress in. They're not materialistic people. The people here, when I first got here, the first car I bought was a Lexus, my dream car. It was I can't remember what year it was. I wanted to say it was a 2001, I believe. And but it was a LS 400. It was the big boy, the big V8, and I had to use premium gas, which I didn't know before I bought it. All the good stuff. And I remember when I started my first business. It was a mobile auto detailing business from Bainbridge Island. And I started my mobile detailing business, and I thought to myself, you know what? As nice as this car is, as nice as this Lexus is, I thought, I can't be toting around all my buckets and hoses and gear and all that stuff and driving around to people's houses, in a Lexus, as much as I wanted to, as much as I was thinking, yeah, this is going to be it. But my mom was like, that's not going to work. You need a work vehicle. So I remember selling my Lexus and buying a Ford Explorer, And I remember calling up my friend one day that invited me over to her house. And I was like just getting ready to leave the house, and I was on my way there, and I ran down to my Explorer. I hopped inside, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't show up to her house in this thing. Like, she's going to freaking slam the door in my face. Like, what am I thinking? So I called her up really quick, like as I'm pulling out of my driveway, and I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know really quick that that I don't have my Lexus anymore. And I'm expecting her to like hang up the phone or be like, well, then don't come over or whatever, And, and she's like, okay, and I'm like, well, I just want to let you know that I sold my Lexus. I bought a Ford Explorer. It's a 4-wheel drive. It's really cool, but it's not the Lexus. I don't have the Lexus anymore. And she's like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Just come over here, So I'm like, all right, cool. I beeline it over there, get to her house, and she comes out and she looks at my Explorer. And it's nice. It wasn't new, but it was nice, like I said, because it was my rolling billboard. It was my business card, basically. So, and I kept it nice, I detailed the crap out of that thing every day. So I get to her house and she comes out and she sees it and she starts laughing and she says, why did you tell me that? And I tell her, I'm like, you know what? I totally forgot. I'm from Southern California. I'm from LA, San Diego. I'm used to people being materialistic and people caring about that stuff. And she says, honestly, she's like, I like the Ford Explorer better. She's like, you can go off-roading in that thing. You can romp that thing. You can tear it up. She's like, your Lexus was nice, but I don't care. She's like, basically, I don't care what you drive. And she didn't care. That's when I fell in love with Washingtonians. That's when I just like completely was like, you know what? That's when I found my true self, was in Washington. It took me to move away from the city, get out of all the glitz and the glamour and Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard, Melrose, getting out of all that stuff, getting away from the beach, which I do miss the beach. But I still have the beach here in Washington. But it took me to get away from all that, to get out in the woods, get out in Mother Nature, to really figure out who I am and what I want in life. And I went through life just a people pleaser. I didn't know how to say no to people. I was always the friend that you can call if you need a ride. I was always the friend that you can call if you need to borrow money. I was always the friend that you can call if you needed advice, you know, I mean, but I was always doing for other people and not for myself, which was my biggest downfall. I did not know how to say no. And that got me into a lot of trouble. Not knowing how to say no, not knowing when, or what am I trying to say here? Not knowing when to stop and make a judgment call and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Or, you know what, we're not going to do this. Or, you know what, I can't do that. You know, I did not know how to say no. So I got in all kinds of trouble for that. Got in trouble with the law, got in trouble with my friends, got in trouble with my family. Trouble. That was my middle name for a few years. But I remember one night I was at my friend's house, and I don't remember what exactly was supposed to happen. We were throwing a big party or something like that, and I don't remember what happened. I think a fight broke out or something like that. The whole party got closed down. Everybody went their separate ways, and it was just me and a couple of my friends, and we were all standing outside. And I remember, like, we were having this conversation, and I remember, now, this guy that we hung out with, you know, he was older than all of us. You know, he had a car, he had his own apartment, he had a really pretty girlfriend, you know, a good job. You know, it was a job at a gas station, but to us that had no job, we all looked up to this guy. We were all like, dude, like, this guy's got it made. We all wanted to be like him. You know, and I remember having a conversation. It was late night, you know, we were up there having like a bromance conversation, you know, and it was just him and I at this point, you know, and I remember asking him, I was like, dude, like, what did you do? Like, what, like, I want to be like you. I want to have the life that you have. You know, I'm tired of people judging me, looking at me and thinking I'm some thug and grabbing their purse all tight when I walk by, or, you know, like locking their doors when they see me walk by. You know, it's like, I'm just tired of that. And he said, you know what? He said, sometimes you got to get out of your element. You got to just completely disengage from the element you're in and put yourself in a completely different situation that you've never been in before, and just start over. You just got to start over. Now, one of the things about me, because my life has been so up and down and so all over the place, is I have no problem with change. I always joke to my friends, and I tell them, like, I'm a chameleon. I'm a chameleon. I can literally get along with anybody in any environment. Now, that didn't come overnight. I mean, it just came from being in different environments and around different people all the time. And I refuse to live my life in a shell. You know, I don't have any brothers or sisters. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. So I've had a lot of time to myself. I've had a lot of me time. I've had a lot of koi time. You know, time to think, time to figure out what I want in life, time to figure out what I don't want in life, time to think about who I want to be around, who I don't want to be around, the kind of person I want to be, the kind of person I don't want to be around, you know, and I had to put myself into all of those situations to figure all that stuff out. You know, at one point I spent a lot of time with people that I didn't want to be around. But I didn't know that at the time, because those people that I was around that I didn't want to be around were also involved in drugs that I ended up getting involved in, and ended up going down this huge rabbit hole that I can say now that I am no longer a part of, but I had to go down that rabbit hole to figure out what I wanted in life. I had to go down that rabbit hole to figure out that I didn't want to be in that rabbit hole. I had to go down that rabbit hole to figure out, like, you know what? This is not me. This is not who my parents raised me to be. You know, like my grandfather, you know, may he rest in peace. You know, he was my best friend growing up. Everybody that met him always said, man, Coy, your grandfather reminds me of Bill Cosby. Every single person that met him said that. Like old school Bill Cosby, you know, when people loved him, you know, and everybody said that, you know, and I remember thinking, like, man, if my grandfather knew that I was doing dope and knew that like I couldn't put the pipe down, and knew that I was slamming that shit. If he knew everything that I was doing, he would freaking roll out of his grave and come over here and make me go pick a switch like back in the day, and he would whoop my black butt all over the place. I got tired of upsetting my friends and my family and everything, and that hole that I was in just completely robbed me of everything. It took me of all my friends, it took me of my family, my job. When I remember the day I lost my job, it was on my mom's birthday, and I remember thinking in the past, like telling my friends, telling other users and stuff like that, like when they lose their jobs and all that, I'm like, man, if you guys can't keep a job, you guys got a problem, you know. And then I remember the day I lost my job, and it was like the most devastating thing. And I remember thinking to myself, holy crap, like I lost my job. Like I let this drug consume me so much that I would rather be out there literally not even a block away from my job at a baseball field across the street, just parked in my car smoking, because I didn't want to go to work. I'd rather sit in my car and smoke. I would call them up and say, hey, hey, it's Coy, I'm running a little bit late. I'm going to be there, but my alarm clock went off, and I'm getting ready right now. And as soon as I'm ready, I'll be there. My bad, And at that point, they'd be like, hey, Coy, no problem. Because when I worked, I was a rock star. I freaking worked. I mean, like, nobody will outwork me. When I'm working, I will freaking run circles around anybody. I don't care what's going on. Like, that's just the way I work. And that's not now. That's been from day one, from 15 and a half when I first started at McDonald's all the way until now. Every job I've ever had, I've owned that. I mean, I've killed it. So, it wasn't my job performance. It was just me constantly calling them saying, hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, I'm this and that. Hey, I'm whatever. It was, I just constantly gave them every excuse in the book to be late. When in reality, I was literally less than 1,000 feet away, parked at the end of a cul-de-sac at this little baseball field, right across the street, sitting down there parked. That way I can sit there and I could just use and use and use until the very last minute. And then I could just hop up there and be there in literally less than 5 minutes. But the problem is I would never go. I would call in and say, hey, I'm going to be there in 20 minutes. And in 20 minutes, I still have the pipe in my hand. And I'm sitting there like, oh, hey, I'm calling them back. No, now I'm texting my boss, because I couldn't get on the phone. I was like, screw that. I can't talk to anybody right now. Like, they would definitely know I was high. So let me text them. So I'm texting. I'm like, hey, I'm on my way there, stuck in traffic. Construction's going on, but I'm already there. I'm on my way. I'll be there in a little bit. This story goes on and on and on and on. Basically, long story short, by hours and hours and hours would go past, and it'd be halfway through the day now, and I've already called them and given them 5 excuses, to the point where they're like, you know what, Coy, just take the day off. And that happened so much and so much and so much that finally, on my mother's birthday, they fired me. And I was so bummed out, because they had promoted me to a prep cook, and the prep cook, one of the things about prep cook is it doesn't matter how fast or how good you are at that job takes a long time because of the things that you have to do. I mean, you could be a good dishwasher, you could be a good cook, you could be a good chef, but the things that you have to do as a prep cook take time. You can't cut through 100 pieces of cucumber and get them all perfectly right in 5 minutes. It takes time, and you have to do it every single day, and you have to do it a certain way, and you have to do it the way that they want you to. So that takes time. So when I became a prep cook, I mean, I worked from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, set schedule, but I never got out of there on time. And that was part of the joy. That was part of the reason I wanted to become a prep cook, is because the prep cooks in front of me, they were just nailing it and just getting out of there early. And I'm like, dude, I want a job where I could just like bust it out and just get out early and just have the rest of my day to just kick it. But I didn't know that it was going to take time. It was going to take a long time. And it took me several weeks, I believe, before I finally finished at 4 o'clock or at 5 o'clock. I was so stoked that I was finally able to get out of there on time. I couldn't believe I had did it. I mean, fireworks were going off in my head. I was celebrating. I was jumping for joy. It was awesome. And at the end of that day, when it was like, yes, it's 5 o'clock. I'm getting ready to go punch out at 5 o'clock on the dot. Right as I'm punching out, my boss tells me, Coy, I got to talk to you for a second. And I know that when they tell you that at any job, that's not good. So I knew that something was wrong. And I was like, oh man, here it comes. And of course, sure enough, as I predicted, I was right. I got fired on that day. So taking all of that and going down that rabbit hole with the drugs and this just toxic, corrupted relationship that I had with my ex, for the first 5-6 years of our relationship, it was great. It was, I mean, she's this cute little country girl, which just, oh my God, like just blonde. I don't know what it is. I have a thing for blondes. I don't know what it is. Just about every single girl that I've ever dated in my life has been a blonde. So whatever. But it's cute little country blonde. You know, she was married for a long time, but her and her husband had a bad relationship because they were also, drugs were in that relationship. So she went from him to me. He was very, very, like, didn't let her go out, didn't let her have friends, didn't let her drive, didn't let her do anything. Then when she came to me, I let her do everything. I let her have friends. I wanted her to go out. I wanted her to do everything, you know. Trust was the thing. She earned my trust. We earned each other's trust in the beginning before the drugs came into play. And then when the drugs came into play, I never, and I put this on everything I love, I never cheated on her. Ever. It just, that's not the kind of person I am. If I'm with you for the long haul. I mean, that's just the way I was, that's the way I was born, that's the way I was bred, that's the way I was raised, is, you know, you don't just quit and give up on a relationship the minute the trouble comes, you know. I mean, you gotta fight for it, and you gotta work through it, and you gotta work out the problems, and sometimes you both may have to come up, you both may have to meet halfway in the middle. That's how relationships work, though. That's the whole thing with relationships. Nowadays, people are so quick to swipe left and swipe right, or oh, the relationship's not working, I'm gonna go and cheat and do this and find somebody to mess around with. That's my problem. Like, that's why I'm so scared to get into a relationship now. I mean, I've been single for a couple of years out of a 13-year relationship, or out of an 11-year relationship that was half toxic and half not. But I'm so scared to get into a relationship now because people nowadays are just so quick to just hop online and just go find some quick little, you know, booty call or whatever. And it's like, dude, I don't want that. You know, like, what do you guys chill out. Stop freaking out. That's my dogs. Sorry. My dogs like to, any little noise they hear, they go on a rant. And I'm trying to do my YouTube, and yeah, they're doing the thing. So anyway, yeah, so I mean, like, but you know, in getting out of this toxic relationship, climbing out of this hole, has led me to meet some amazing people. You know, even as a kid, I met a lot of amazing people that helped me, you know, people that had no business helping me, but they saw something in me, and they saw that I could be this person that I didn't even know that I could be. So they didn't give up on me. They just helped me, and they found out what my weaknesses were, and they just honed in on that, and they just helped me overcome those weaknesses and how to change my mindset. I mean, they literally, without these mentors that I've met along the way in my life, I would not be here standing, making this video and talking to you guys today. I don't know where I'd be. I'd either be dead or I'd be in prison. And a lot of people say that, and a lot of people don't appreciate the second chance that they have in their life. I have a second chance. That second chance was given to me on December 6th, 2018. I was on my way home from work, and I was still in my active drug addiction. Will you guys be quiet? No barking. I was still in my active drug addiction, and I was new at my job. I was only there for about 2 or 3 months. I was a dishwasher, and I was on my way home from work. I had been up, literally, I'm not exaggerating here, I had been up for 10 days straight. with 4 hours of sleep in a 10-day span. My ex-girlfriend and I, we talk to a lot of people while we're getting high, and people tell us their horror stories. Oh, I've been up for a month, and I've been up for a week, and I've been up for 2 weeks, and we're like, that's horse crap. Like, nobody can stay up that long. I mean, but little did we know, with the right shit, or excuse my language, but with the right stuff, yeah, anything's possible. I'm not saying that in a good way. I'm not saying anything like I'm proud of it. I'm not proud of anything. You know, it's almost like an embarrassment to me. But that's a part of my life that has made me into who I am. So I'm not. Anyway, a lot of these mentors that I had really helped me out. And, you know, whether it's been a good relationship or a bad relationship, every relationship that I've ever had, I've taken one good thing out of that and I've applied it to the next relationship. Every job that I've ever had in my life, I have taken one good thing that I've learned from that job and I've applied it to the next job. I take a lot of pride in my work. Every job that I've ever had, I take pride in my work. I mean, all I have, you know, Al Pacino said, I think it's Scarface, all I have is my word and what, I don't even know, I messed that one all up, but all I have is my word. That's all I have to go off of. So if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, because I don't want to be known as a flaky guy. I know enough flaky people, and I don't want anything to do with those people, and I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be somebody that you could depend on, somebody that you know that you can count on, somebody that you could trust, somebody that you could talk to. I want to be that person that rock. You know, I want to help people. That's all I want to do in life. I want to help people. And I've had so many people in my life that I've talked to that know me, that have gotten to know me, tell me, wow, Coy, like, I truly believe that you were put here to help people. And that's other people telling me that. People that I just meet in a bar or at a barbecue or at a party that don't even know me, that have talked to me literally for 5 or 10 minutes. These people are like, man, I could just tell you're just so sincere about everything. Man, you are put here to help people. I mean, and I honestly feel like that. I feel like I am here to help people. I don't know, help people in what? I have no idea. I'm not here to figure all that out in a day. You know, I mean, what is it? Rome wasn't built overnight. I mean, I'm not here to figure out my whole life in one day. But what I am here to figure out is the path that I want to be on. And you know, I may not be where I want to be in my life, but I am super excited that I'm not where I used to be in my life, because like I said, that was a deep rabbit hole, and I don't ever want to go down that rabbit hole again, and I never will. So, I mean, I've had people that have just gone above and beyond to make me the person that I am. So now that I have climbed out of that hole, now that I have made me into the person that I am today, now that I've accomplished so many things in my life, and I've gotten over so many feats in my life, and I've climbed out of that dark rabbit hole, and I have recovery on my side. I mean, I have a great job, and I'm starting my YouTube channel with you guys. I'm starting this venture with you guys, and I look forward to just leveling your life up in such a way to where you can just think of something you want to do and just go out there and do it. I mean, that's all it's about, you know. I mean, you got to be the change that you want to see in your life, and that saying carries a huge amount of weight with me, a huge amount of weight, because when I first heard that, I mean, it literally was like, boom, everything just went off in my head. It was like, oh my gosh, like that saying is all about me. Be the change you want to see in your life. If you're not happy with where your life is, if you're not happy with the job that you have, then do something about it. Don't sit there and talk about it and complain about it. Don't be one of those naysayers, you know. Be a doer. If you don't like the way your life is going, then do something about it. If you don't like the clothes you're wearing, then buy different clothes. If you don't like the job you have, get a different job. If you don't like the people that you're around, then surround yourself with the people that you want to be around. I mean, that's I don't know the sayings and all that, but that's basically that's how it works. You know, if you want to be successful, surround yourself around successful people. You know, if you want to start to know more IT stuff, surround yourself around people that know software. You know, if you want to be a better car person, surround yourself around people that know cars. You know, you get better if you hang out with people that are better. If you play against people that are better, whatever sport you're playing in, you will get better. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Along a huge part of my life is martial arts. I've spent a number of years of my life doing martial arts. And I didn't get to the level I am now without getting beat down a few times. And without losing some competitions. And without getting chewed out by my instructor and yelled at by my parents and told that I was doing this wrong and laughed at because I fell when I shouldn't have fallen. I mean, you're going to get knocked down. You got to get back up. That's part of life. It's going to knock you down. You got to get back up. Nobody's going to care. Let me tell you a secret here. Nobody is going to care that you get knocked down. Nobody's going to give you any crap about getting knocked down. They're going to give you crap about not getting back up. You got to get back up. We all get knocked down every single day. We get knocked on our butt and we get knocked on the mat. But the difference between the people that make it and the people that don't are the ones that make it are the ones that get up. They get up because they know they're not dead. They're not dead, so they can get up. If I can get back up, I'm going to get back up. Trust me, every single time I am going to get back up. That's just the way Koi's bred. That's the way I know that. That's all I know how to do is just keep getting up, keep grinding, keep moving, keep putting in work. If I don't know how to do something, I'm not going to ask you to do it for me. I'm going to find somebody that knows how to do it, and I'm going to ask them, how do I do this? I don't want you to do it for me. No, just show me what do I got to do, and I'll do it, because if you can do it, I could do it. That's the way I look at it. So, I don't know. This video is probably getting really long, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So, basically, you know, stay on this channel. I mean, like I said, this is my first video. I don't even know. You guys probably won't even see this video. So, anyway, but like I said, this channel is all about just helping you level up to the best level of yourself that you can get out there and just overcome any overcome any fears, overcome any troubles, overcome any challenges. I want to help you just become the best version of you. My name is Koi. Thank you so much for watching my best version of me. Until next time, keep on grinding, keep moving, think positive, and just be the change you want to see in your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.